Hi, my name's Yanni Hardy, and this is my instrument, the DUBSTEPINATOR. The DUBSTEPINATOR first came to mind when I was observing my friend Nicholas doing sound design in Ableton. He really introduced me to dub and dubstep as a genre. I personally haven't gotten into it too much, but I really enjoy learning and observing how he does sound design and implementing some of those principles into my own work. This instrument takes inspiration from a lot of different things. I thought some kind of element to control the overall timbre or adjust the position of a sample would be nice, sort of like DJ scratching on turntables. I think beat repeat the Ableton effect is a really fun thing to use on occasion. The button layout from hitbox style fighting game controllers, that was more just an ergonomic sort of thing, just being able to use your all the fingers on your hands. That's something I really enjoy about those types of controllers, and I thought it could apply to a musical instrument sort of context. So this instrument helps to take the sort of edit mode aspects of his sound design and bring it into this creative sort of vessel. So let me show you how it works. So here we are in live. Given that Nicholas is a live user and that I am also a live user, I know that there are programs like PD and VCVRAC, which I use sometimes. VCVRAC more than PD. I don't use PD. But I know the importance of having something that works in live, because if it doesn't work in live, then they're not going to use it, because they have to implement this whole new thing into their workflow. So here we are in the Max for Live device for the instrument, and you can see that once you press this button, all the buttons start working. So let me run you through what's happening in this instrument. The 6 arcade buttons at the top are used to adjust the rhythms. And as you can see from the MIDI note output in live, with each button having a different quantized speed. This can be changed with the modifier button used by the thumb to just play a regular MIDI note. The default outputting note for this device is a C to work with simpler and all other sample-based instruments, but this can be changed with any sort of live MIDI effect that adjusts the note. On the left side of the instrument, you can see a soft potentiometer, and this is used to adjust the major timbral element of whatever instrument you're making. Ideally, you would be playing the instrument with your left hand for the potentiometer and your right hand for the rhythm. At the top of the instrument, there's 2 more potentiometers, which you can use to adjust other variables in the live instrument, as well as 2 toggles which adjust the bank for each combination of switches. This bank feature is built to work with live instrument racks, and just from experimenting, the instrument as a whole works really well with instrument racks. And this is due to the fact that you can map to the macros, and just it gives you a lot more leverage in how you can use these different values, because if you have everything inside of a rack, you're able to map multiple things to the one macro, which you can't do without it. And given that I prototyped it in VCVRAC, it does indeed work in VCVRAC. It's a little more simplified, but the existing principles still apply to it. So you have all the different buttons. You can trigger normal notes. Toggles don't do anything on this patch, unfortunately, but you still have all of the existing design elements, and I think samples are what the Dubstepinator was intended for, but I do think that with a synthesizer, especially like this patch that I've built, you get more of a clean scrub going from different patches than you do with other instruments, and I think that's really neat. Now, here we are in a different live set, and I've just put a couple random sounds that I made at 11 p.m. So we'll see how well they work. Here you can see sort of how the Dubstepinator is intended for use in live. So you can see we have different chains on the instrument rack, and each of the banks apply to a different instrument. So now we can have a better look into the different things that you can manipulate with Dubstepinator. Here we have a sound design session from Nicholas himself, and you can see as I move the potentiometer, it's going to different parts of the sample, and you're able to adjust the release as well as the attack of the sample. And you can also speed it up. And you can also just play the sample from start to finish. And just to demonstrate how banks can offer different sounds, if we swap to bank 2, you can see that we just have a different part of the same sound design session. So now going from bank 2 to 3, you can really see how well this instrument works in a granulator. I think the best application of this instrument could potentially be in the granulator. And moving over to bank 4, I just have a pad sample, and you can see that instead of adjusting things like the position of the granulator, you can adjust other elements like the delay to get some really interesting sort of atmospheric sounds. So you can really see that despite the silly name of the Dubstepinator, there is quite a lot that you can do with this instrument, and I think the person that best shows the possibility of this instrument is my friend Nicholas. I set the instrument in front of him, and within 7 minutes, he started making some really incredible sound design using this instrument, and he absolutely loved it. You gotta take the Dubstepinator to shows now.
Yes, I swear all my friends will be there. It's like such a fun way to sound design too.
But it still doesn't end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new session, and I'm going to drop the sound design that Nicholas did and see what we can do with it. As you've seen, it can really do a lot, from like super rhythmic dance music to like really ambient, quiet, evolving over time sorts of music. For what it is, it really gets the job done in terms of my intentions for it to be used. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this instrument. This was the Dubstepinator.